The growing importance of emotional management, the importance of managing emotions, has attracted the attention and interest of many people in both the West and the East. The analysis and methodologies introduced by the West lack the feasibility of being used by an average layperson. Although ancient Eastern philosophy contains rich concepts, they are not widely accepted because of the belief that they require a special lifestyle, such as that of a Buddhist monk, and therefore cannot be practiced by lay people. This creates an interesting situation. On one side, modern society has sophisticated psychological knowledge, but many ordinary people find it difficult to translate that knowledge into a practical daily method. On the other side, ancient systems contain many techniques for working with the mind, but people sometimes believe that these practices are intended only for monks, saints, or people living a highly disciplined spiritual life. The question therefore becomes, is there a practical middle path that an ordinary person can follow while continuing to live a normal modern life? Attempts to address the problem. The Dalai Lama, several Buddhist monks, and well-known Hindu masters have attempted to introduce different methodologies to address these burning issues. However, in the current world, there are still no proper methods widely available to address problems related to emotion and its management. And therefore, the problem is becoming increasingly aggravated day by day. We can see this in ordinary life. People experience increasing pressure from employment, financial responsibilities, family relationships, social expectations, technology, and the constant flow of information. A person may wake up in the morning and immediately look at a mobile phone. Before breakfast, he or she may already have received dozens of messages, news reports, advertisements, and social media updates. The mind has very little opportunity to remain quiet. Under these circumstances, learning how to understand and manage emotions becomes increasingly important. The purpose of this series, the speaker has written a book in Sinhala to analyze the principles of emotion and its management. However, the intention of that book was not to provide workable guidelines. That book also indicated the necessity of writing another book to achieve the current objective, and this series of YouTube talks is intended to fulfill that task. This series of talks is being delivered in English because the speaker feels that the Western world is facing a more serious problem in this area and therefore needs an urgent solution based on practicable methods of emotional management. The intention is not simply to discuss emotions as an academic subject. The intention is to examine whether practical methods can be developed that an ordinary person can understand and apply in everyday life, making the concepts understandable. To facilitate an understanding of the principles behind the proposed practical methods, a brief description of the concepts used will also be provided, although the methods proposed are based on ancient practices. The speaker has consciously attempted to eliminate any religious flavor. As such, these methods can be used by any person, independent of their religious beliefs, to achieve the intended results. In fact, according to the speaker's opinion, they are also suitable for persons who do not believe in any religion. This point is particularly important. A person does not need to change his or her religion, join a religious organization, become a monk, or withdraw from ordinary society in order to learn how to manage harmful emotional reactions. The objective is to develop practical methods that can be incorporated into normal life. A parent should be able to use them. A teacher should be able to use them. A business person should be able to use them. A student should be able to use them. And a retired person should also be able to use them. What exactly do we mean by emotion? There is no single definition of emotion. The main problem in understanding emotional management techniques is the interpretation of the term itself. Discussions between the Dalai Lama's team and Western scholars also could not completely solve this problem because they had two different definitions and could not agree upon one. The definition used by the speaker is different from both of them. However, I am confident that it will enable us to develop more practical methods for managing the harmful effects of emotions.